Good evening, folks. Welcome to another edition of Curveball Convos with your boys at Carolina Curveball. Got a nice jam-packed show for you as we are going to recap Week 8 of the college baseball season, as well as a little preview of our midweek action. It is National Championship Monday for college baseball. For college basketball, excuse me. Geez, I still got baseball in my mind, even though basketball's coming to an end here. Quick around the horn as UConn and Michigan are playing. Who do you guys got? I got UConn.
Michigan.
Wow. Unexpected there from Tobin. I got UConn.
Colby.
Michigan. Yeah,
Okay.
Michigan.
So a nice little 2v2 action there. Fellas, big week of college baseball around the country, and most importantly in the Carolinas. Got a lot to discuss tonight. So we'll go ahead and dive straight in, Braxton, with our slate, our scoreboard. Excuse me. We'll get our thoughts and takes on each one, so we don't spend too much time at the beginning, because I don't want to run over things. To begin, App State defeats Marshall 2-1 on the series. Nice series win here for App State. App State is now 5-7 in the Sun Belt. Marshall is 6-6. Marshall was in second 2 weekends ago. Then Coastal and App State back to back. Not ideal, but Braxton, good start for App State this season so far through Sun Belt. 5-7, could be worse. Sitting at 16-14. There's a lot of logjam in the Sun Belt because right now, if you look, you got Coastal Carolina at 11-1, and then you got Southern Miss, Texas State, and UL Monroe at 7-5, and then you got Arkansas State, South Alabama, James Madison, Troy, and Marshall at 6-6. So there are three last place teams at 4-8. So one weekend can catapult you from second or last.
Yeah. The Sun Belt is a little bit clogged there. It's Coastal's league. We've seen that, the last year or so. Obviously, they had the big streak that came to an end this week, which we'll get to here in a second. But, App State, this is a big series win for them. It's kind of two middle-of-the-pack Sun Belt teams. And then, obviously, like you said, Kason, sitting at 5-7 now, where Marshall's 6-6, but they're still only one game in front of last place, which is just kind of shows how good the Sun Belt is, kind of from bottom to top. Other than it's really just Coastal and Southern Miss, I think, that are the two elite teams out of there. But yeah, nonetheless, a good win for App. I think they really needed it to kind of just keep pace in the league right now. If they want any sort of shot at making winning the Sun Belt tournament, they got to get a decent seed because that tournament is kind of a crazy format. But we'll see. I think it's a good series win, though, for the Mountaineers.
Tobin, the streak is ended for the Chanticleers. The Sun Belt streak, it ended, if I'm not mistaken, on Friday.
Friday night. Yeah.
South Alabama beat them.
Blowout back.
Yeah. Like you said, 32-game win streak in the Sun Belt comes to an end. Incredible run they've been on. But nevertheless, they still win the series. But yeah, Friday night, Ross Norman, he'd been pitching really well the past few weeks, but he returned to his early season form, was really roughed up on Friday night. But, credit to Coastal, responded on Saturday, came back in that game too. Bryce Estep had the walk-off hit there to secure the series for them.
And Colby, we'll go to you for the stats because you do a wonderful job of putting together our honor roll each week. Phenomenal work once again, Colby. And who was it when we were looking in the press box on Saturday for Coastal that just absolutely ate up? Wasn't it Norman that had
Horn got ripped on Saturday.
Yeah. And
yeah.
Colby, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Horn gave up 7 or 8 hits on Saturday, but he gave up 6 runs, but only 2 of them are earned. So, but he got hit around pretty well.
And Colby, did we have any guys for App State and Coastal Carolina?
Yeah, on App we had Jake Mumau, probably saying that wrong, but he made our honor roll. He went 10 for 15, had a really solid week. And then for Coastal we had Rex Watson make the honor roll. He had another 3 home run week, as well as Jackson Appleman for Coastal. He pitched 6 innings, 1 home run, 8 strikeouts.
Well, I think Rex Watson's a shoe-in every week for our honor roll. I feel like each week. So for each week we do these, we kind of set up easy for us to do, and we have not changed Rex Watson's name out of the Coastal Carolina template because every single week we're just putting a new picture on there and just putting in new stats. And most of the time it's more home runs and more RBIs each time. It's quite astonishing. He's been really, really good for them. Davidson defeats George Mason in the rubber match on Saturday. Gosh, I keep messing up trying to say Sunday because of Easter. George Mason takes game 1. Davidson takes the next 2. And Colby Kavanaugh, correct, for Davidson, pitched well this weekend?
Yeah, he made honor roll, 7 innings of no runs and 8 strikeouts, got the win. And also Jamie Daly made our honor roll as well from Davidson. He had a 2 home run week, 8 RBIs, so really solid week for Jamie Daly.
It's a good series win for Davidson. Yeah. George Mason, was in the top. I believe they were in second going into this weekend too. So really impressive weekend for Davidson.
And Davidson now sits at 6-6 in the A10. Reed, who's first in the A10?
St. Joseph's.
Wow.
Third. And 11-1. VCU sitting at 8-3. George Mason falls to 8-4. They're in third, so kind of a shock there. And Rhode Island on a 4-game win streak at 7-5 in the A10. A10 baseball, folks. Reed, who's in last in the A10?
Oh, well, that's a good question. God, I don't even know. Who is it?
St.
George
Bonaventure.
Washington.
St.
Bonaventure. The Bonnies? Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of shocking and things that we don't know about, Reed, Stony Brook over UNC Wilmington, Reed? I mean, what went on there? I mean, Stony Brook 9-19 on the season, 6-9, nice in the conference. Wilmington 8-4, drops to 8-4, 19-12. Reed, what went on up there?
Yeah, big shock up in the Long Island area this weekend. Wilmington had been rolling along in the CAA with Campbell as the top 2 teams, but the bats really let them down this weekend. Connor Marshburn too on Thursday night was roughed up a bit, but the offense, bottom line, just did not produce enough this weekend for them.
Not at all. And Braxton, just kind of who do they have in the midweek coming up? I'm pulling it up right now, actually.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, they play at Dope tomorrow.
That's tough. I mean, that is a quick turnaround there for them. Not ideal at all.
I believe they're on like a 10-game road stand right now, too.
Wow.
Well, they had a big homestand. I feel like.
Yeah,
play,
I remember seeing that during the ECU game that they showed the schedule.
To keep it in the ACC, Duke, nice series win over Louisville. Duke takes the series in the first 2 days. Louisville then wins the final game. And as we were kind of talking pre-show, there's a logjam in the middle of the ACC. You got Miami at 6-6, Pitt at 6-6, State at 6-6, Duke 7-8, and Louisville below them at 5-7 in the conference. Gosh, these are just wacky. Because then you got Notre Dame at 6-9, Virginia Tech at 6-9, and then you got Clemson at 4-8. But nice win here for Duke, Colby, and they Caden Smith on honor roll, correct?
Yeah, a lot of Duke players that could have been on honor roll. Obviously, we had Caden Smith, who went 8 for 17, 8 RBIs. RJ Hamilton had a big week, 2 home runs. Jake Lambden, 2 home runs. Colin Anderson, 8 for 16, and Michael DiMartini, 8 for 17 with 2 home runs. So they really hit well this week. And
DiMartini's been heating up.
Yeah, that's been much needed for Duke too.
Keep it in the ACC, Braxton. The Heels get a nice series win over BC. And me and Colby were talking on Saturday about UNC, just how whenever they're down, just Scott Forbes just always gets his guys rallied and to find a way because Colby, they were down. We were paying attention to it in the press box on Saturday. And what was the score? And then they come back and score, 3 in the late innings?
It was 7-2 at one point.
Yeah.
Down a good bit.
Braxton, just talk about the resilience of this team and just, a big home win versus a ranked BC team.
Yeah, absolutely massive. I mean, like you said, they kind of get punched in the mouth there on Thursday night, I think it was. And, Forbes was I saw his press conference. He was just like, sometimes you play a good game, you just get beat. That's two competitive teams, two ranked teams, like you mentioned. And, BC got the better of them on Thursday in the later innings. But like you said, the resilience they showed in both Friday and Saturday's game was really impressive. And I think that's just kind of the formula for this team right now. I mean, they just find ways to win ball games. I mean, you look at Owen Hull had a big hit there in the rubber match to kind of take that game. And I think their pitching's just been really, really clutch too. I mean, they got some great innings again out of McDuffie, who just kind of closed the door there in the rubber match as well. Obviously, we talked about Jackson Rose. I'm sure we'll mention him as well. He was in the honor roll for his big outing against Campbell, and then also he came back on the weekend and threw a couple scoreless innings in this series as well against BC. So just showing their depth and their talent all across the board. I mean, BC's a good ball club, and they came in here, got a win, but just Carolina to win that series is huge. They kind of struggled in league play at home at first. I think they were like 3-4 after they dropped the game on Thursday at home in the ACC, and they bounced back and take 2 more. So. It's been really good. I mean, they're number 6 in the country now for a reason. I mean, they've started the season spectacularly. We've talked about it a lot. I was looking today, Case, and I think I was just looking back at like some of our curveball rankings. Obviously, they've been number 1 for a couple weeks now, and I think over the last 2 years, Carolina has been number 1 in our rankings for around like 40 or 50% of the clip of the rankings. So like. They stay around there, and they're just an elite ball club. Coach Forbes is doing great things over there, and they've just been elite for a couple years now. So, and I think it will continue there in Chapel Hill.
Tobin sitting at 11-4 on the ACC right now, 27-5-1. As Braxton said, best team in the Carolinas right now. Are all eyes looking ahead to their clash at home versus Georgia Tech coming up soon?
No, I mean, they can't be looking ahead of this upcoming week. They're at Clemson this week. Yes, Clemson has struggled all season. We know that, but that's still a tough place to play. But Braxton, I mean, he makes good points there. McDuffie, I believe he was used in every single game this week too, all 4 games. And then Caden Klauber, the freshman, 95 pitches out of the bullpen. On Friday night too as well. But BC is a really good team. They really I know they didn't win the series this weekend, but they continue to impress me. They've been the surprise of the ACC. And AJ Colasso, their Thursday night starter, their number 1 guy. Now that's back-to-back years where he's given the heels fits.
Colby, we had some UNC guys, didn't we, sir?
Yeah, Jackson Rose made honor roll. Braxton touched on him. McDuffie was under consideration with another solid week. Glauber was solid on the mound, and on the hitting side, I had Jake Schaffner. He went 8 for 20 this week. I think Carolina's hitting stats kind of got kind of through the mud this week with the 14 or 15 inning game on Tuesday, so kind of affected their average this week with that game.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Interesting series. Charleston Southern sweeps Presbyterian. This is completely my fault why this happened. Presbyterian should have won on Friday, but Casey decided to send text when they were up 12-5, bases loaded in the 9th, and he stopped looking at his phone. And then all of a sudden in the Discord chat, I'm just getting absolutely shit on by Braxton, Reed, and Matt because they decided to blow the game. I'm not sure how, but impressive weekend for Charleston Southern. Presbyterian struggling to find its way. But Reed, I mean, what in the world went on Friday night?
Yeah, really impressive comeback. Me and Braxton and Matt were talking about that game on Discord Thursday night. But yeah, much needed sweep for Charleston Southern to get back in the race here. in the Big South. They lost their previous 2 series, but Blake Edmond, he had a huge weekend at the plate. So yeah, impressive weekend against a struggling Presbyterian team where you can't afford to lose that series.
Braxton, don't worry, I won't text anymore about any games if there's more than a 7-run lead. But Braxton,
I
right now,
mean, to
Charleston
be
Southern.
fair,
Go ahead.
I was like agreeing with you. Like I think it was 12-5 or something like heading into the ninth, and then I think it was even like 12-8 with like 2 outs, and then I think they hit the grand slam with 2 outs.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
was watching it on my phone. It was 1 out, bases loaded, up 12-5, top of the ninth, Presbyterian. I closed the ESPN app, swiped up, and texted in the chat about it. And then 10 minutes later, my phone from y'all. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" But
I mean,
Braxton,
you're never out of it. That's just goes like there's
No.
always a reminder, every now and then.
Yeah.
Even with 2 outs, you've got to throw it over the plate and challenge the hitters. I mean, that's the game of baseball for you. Anything can happen. And certainly coaches are always aware of that, so they're never, kind of sailing it in. They're always competing there, throwing their guys or whatnot. So, yeah, it's just another friendly reminder that the game's not over until the game's over. So, but it kind of shows some resilience there from the Buccaneers there too as well. Like they won some tough ball games. I mean, Presbyterian gave them all they got, and they come out with the sweep, which is what I think they expected to do. But in the games that you got from Presbyterian, it's good to see them kind of take all 3 there. If you're Charleston Southern.
Colby, we had a few guys there, right?
Yeah, we have a good bit. Starting with Presbyterian, our player of the week, Matthew Rollison. Could be the best stat line I've seen since started doing this. It's going to be tough to top. He went 10 for 18 with 15 RBIs, 4 home runs, and 3 doubles on the week. So it's an incredible week for Rollison. Charleston Southern, Blake Edmond, Reed touched on him. He went 8 for 11, solid week at the plate. And then also Titus Von Kapf on Charleston Southern, pitched a complete game, shutout, 9 innings, 5 strikeouts, and obviously got the win. So really solid week for Rollison, Edmond, and great start from Von Kapf. If I'm saying that right, probably butchering that.
Shout out. And Colby, we're going to keep it with you, sir. Colby, me and you had the pleasure of going to East Carolina on Saturday. Colby, want a round of applause? Let's welcome Colby as the newest media member for college baseball. Made his press box debut. Colby, first, before we talk about the series, just talk about that experience and what you liked. And want to give a big thank you to Valerie at ECU. She does a great job. Helps us out. Had good conversations after. Really, really good at her job. The SID there at East Carolina. I want to give my thank you there. But Colby, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, it was a great time in the press box. I wish the game was a little bit closer, but it was good. And then after the game, going on to the field and listening to the players and Coach Godwin after the game was really cool.
It was really, really neat as well. And I wish you brought a Jack in the press box. It was very, very, very chilly in there. Served chicken quesadillas and corn salsa, and there was a big plate of cookies. And I made sure to eat about five cookies, and they were absolutely delicious. But Colby, let's first start on the Charlotte side. I mean, not really sure if it could be a worse week for Charlotte. 0-3, and ECU starts game 1 with Luke Payne, and Luke Payne does pretty well. I don't think Charlotte was expecting that. ECU themselves weren't expecting. Even Cliff Godwin said it on the postgame Saturday that he did not expect that from Luke Payne on Thursday night. But Colby, from the Charlotte side, just kind of what went wrong there?
Well, I think the series turned around on Friday. They were up big, and they couldn't close it out. The defense made a lot of mistakes. ECU had a lot of soft hit balls that were tough plays, but the plays that needed to be made, and they couldn't hang on to the lead. The innings just kept on getting extended with not making the defensive plays, and then they lost that game Friday night after being up big. And then I don't think they were ready on Saturday. It just seemed like they were pretty pretty distraught from the game on Friday.
I could not believe what I saw on Friday night. I mean, and mind you, let's not forget that that was a 4-hour baseball game, 4 hours and 15-minute baseball game, super long game. Reed, your take from the ECU side hit on Luke Payne, as
Yeah.
well as ECU getting a win despite a bad Norby start. I mean, that's been different from the Pirates this season. Of on those days that Norby goes, if Norby's not good, I mean, they just kind of seem to just you can kind of just blow them over the whole
Yeah.
team. But they kind of responded and fought back and won.
Yeah, y'all make some good points. But yeah, Luke Payne Thursday, I was not expecting that. 4 innings of work. I think he had 6 or 7 strikeouts. Yeah, he was really good for them Thursday night. The offense was on point Thursday night. But yeah, that Friday, I think Colby makes a good point there. Yeah, Charlotte had many plays to get out of those innings, but I mean, yes, they were hard plays to make, but plays you need to make to win ball games. But yeah, I mean, Kaysen, like you said, I mean, this season when Norby's been bad, the Pirates have kind of just rolled over and gotten blown out in those games. So for them to show some resilience there on Friday night and fight back, and Clark LeClaire, the crowd really into the game, that was really cool to see. But yeah, in terms for Charlotte, though, I mean, the pitching staff was just roughed up all weekend. Joseph Taylor really struggled. Chase Carson, let them back in on Friday night too. Adam Stanton too, coming off his big start last week against South Florida. He was roughed up as well. But yeah, I mean, this is a big week for ECU. We've been kind of waiting. When's it going to happen? Their first 4-0 week of the season comes at a much needed time.
Without a doubt. And then I'll touch on Saturday quickly. Every player in the lineup scored in the first inning. ECU scores 11 in the first. Braden Burris had 2 doubles in the first inning, which is just crazy to think. And just that's kind of a testament to his season. And Braxton,
how many batters did they send to the plate? Like 17?
I don't know. I know that I don't think it was no.
Did they hit around twice or almost?
Cole, would you remember?
They nearly did. Yeah.
It's probably around 15. I can't. Yeah.
A lot of hitters.
Yeah.
A lot of hitters.
It was a long bottom first.
Braxton, we'll get your take on it. Just ECU, if ECU can find something in the arms of like Luke Payne, Joe Webb, Marley, and not have to put all the emphasis on Sean Jenkins, and because we're still waiting the return of Van Kempen, and from what I was listening to today, Weber could come back around regional time or late in Clearwater. So, I mean,
not to mention Moran too.
Moran,
and Analock too.
Antolik, I'm out on Antolik. Antolik feelings hurt more than his actual body, so I'm out on him. Moran's hit or miss, but Braxton, if they can get some of these guys going, I mean, it can help them for sure.
Yeah, I think you're going to look back on this week as kind of a turning point for ECU in their season. Like Reed said, it's the first 4-0 week, I think. And, it's a big one. You get the season sweep over UNCW in the midweek, which is important. That they've been playing really good ball, and they just kind of handled them both times they played them. And then you get a huge American series against Charlotte at home, right? I mean, we talked about how tight the American was, I think, in the last couple weeks. And, looking at the standings now, there's some separation there a little bit. ECU and Charlotte were both sitting at 3-3 before this weekend, I believe. And now it's 6-3 versus 3-6. And you're just kind of look at it like, this could be the weekend that kind of propels ECU into that, upper echelon of the American. Obviously, they lose the series, but they're right there at UTSA. They know they can compete with the likes of UAB and South Florida and even Wichita and Tulane. Like, I think if there's a weekend that they're going to look back on, if they do end up like winning the American or, kind of going back to a regional, I think it's this week for ECU. And I think that's absolutely huge. They're only going to get healthier from here as well. Another huge week coming up as well with their games. I think they play Duke tomorrow. So a chance to get back against the Blue Devils there tomorrow. And then from the Charlotte side, I think you just you got to put it behind you as quickly as possible. you know that you're good enough to compete. Obviously, you didn't compete the way you wanted to in Greenville this weekend, but there's still a lot to look forward to if you're Charlotte. I think it's a little less likely that you're going to get an at-large bid at this point right now, but you got to just keep trying to win games. And you never know what could happen down in Clearwater. So,
Reed,
I
who's
think getting that
Reed?
lower for Charlotte's pretty much dead.
yeah, I would agree.
Reed, who's number one in the American?
UAB 7-2.
And how many games have they won in a row?
I think they've won 8 or 9 in a row. Am I right?
9.
I don't think they've. Okay, yeah.
Barry
Yeah, I don't think
Frank.
they've lost. I don't think they've lost since that Saturday game against ECU.
Correct. I 100% agree.
And their RPI
Colby,
is really high too.
Colby, do we have any guys for the Pirates?
Oh, certainly, especially when you score 11 runs in one inning. Davin Whitaker made our honor roll. He went 11 for 18, 12 RBI. Grady Linehan made the honor roll, 9 for 15, 8 RBI. Jack Herring also had a good week, 7 for 13, 6 RBI. One bright spot for Charlotte this week was Alec DiMartino. It seems like he's really turning it on as of late for the 49ers. He went 6 for 11 with 2 bombs in Greenville, 4 RBI.
Very, very impressive. Braxton, sorry I cut you off there, but what were you saying?
Oh, I don't even remember. It was whatever we were talking. I
Something
think it was
about
just
RPI. RPI.
Yeah,
something.
ECU's RPI took a big leap from this week, which is huge for them in their hopes.
I will never understand RPI. I just don't get it, but it's ridiculous. The next one is the Citadel. Nice win over Longwood. The Citadel is 3-3 in the SoCon. This was not a SoCon series. 14-16. Colby, do we have anyone for the Citadel?
Yeah, Garrett Fulmer. He didn't make honor roll, but he was in consideration. He went 6 for 13 this week with 3 RBI. He had a triple and 2 doubles on the week, so a really solid week for him.
Very solid week. High Point defeats College of Charleston. College of Charleston takes the last game. High Point clinches the series, and our pitcher of the week, Colby, Wade Walton.
Yeah, incredible outing for him. He went 6 innings, 11 strikeouts, no earned runs. And then also Ty Brackbill, he was on a roll. He went 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, no earned runs. So really nice weekend for the top 2 in the rotation for High Point. And then for College of Charleston, Alex Lacoste. He went 9 for 16, 4 RBIs, 2 home runs for College of Charleston. He made the honor roll as well.
Very nice for them. College of Charleston reeling a little bit, but Braxton High Point sitting at 7-2 in the Big South. Not number 1, as Winthrop has yet to lose a Big South game, but High Point 7-2, 21-10 overall. I mean, Braxton, I feel like it's every week we have at least 1 or 2 guys on the honor roll, and just that Joey Hammond-led bunch is just – they're just winners.
Dude, they look really good right now. I think if there's a favorite in the Big South, I mean, we probably would have said Winthrop the last couple of weeks, but I think it's looking like High Point right now. They get the 1-0 win against Wake Forest as well in the midweek, and then like Colby kind of alluded to, that 1-2 punch of Walton and Bratchville on the weekend has been incredible for them on the mound. I mean, they just and to pair that with this offense too. I mean, think about how good this offense was last year, and they lost some pieces, but they've replaced them. I mean, you look at you look at McCarter's had a big year in that offense. Christian Smith is just getting healthy again. But I mean, yeah, Charleston does get the walk-off win. I think it was kind of a disappointment if you're High Point. If they sweep, I think they had a win streak going too. I think it just kind of came to an end. But you got to take the positive. They look really, really good though. I think if there's a favorite in the Big South, it's probably them right now.
I would agree. Brady, did you have any thoughts on the Big South?
Yeah, I think Braxton touches on it more. I think High Point, has to be looked at as the favorite right now. With Winthrop kind of struggling here this past week. Another impressive week. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from High Point over these past few weeks.
Elon takes the series versus A&T. A&T wins the Saturday game. Elon moves to 5-10 in the CAA South, and A&T falls to 3-9, the last team in the CAA. Colby, do we have anyone in that series?
We had Brian Strange on Elon. He went 7 innings, 6 strikeouts, 1 earned run. I don't have anybody from A&T.
Alrighty. Gardner Webb takes the series versus Asheville. Gardner Webb clinches the series in the first 2 days. Shout out Gardner Webb. Colby, do we have anyone there?
Yep, Matt Stewart, Gardner Webb, he got on a roll, 9 innings, 4 strikeouts, no earned runs, got the win. And then Marique Carter had a really solid week for Gardner Webb, went 5 for 12, and Ryan Kennel went 7 for 18 as well.
And Blaze Johnson for Asheville, correct?
That's right, yeah. Blaze Johnson, he definitely made on a roll, 7 for 14, 8 RBI, and 3 bombs.
I feel like Blaze Johnson is in there every other week, Braxton. He's
at least three times now, I believe.
Yeah.
And then just on Gardner Webb, real quick, that's a good week for them. They hit the ball really well this weekend. I was able to watch a little bit of that game. I think it was a standalone game one of those days. But they hit the ball really well. They obviously lose the third game, but I think this is a positive weekend for them. Kind of going on the road and just having the offense flourish, and then you get the complete game out of Stewart there. So maybe something to build off of there if you're Gardner Webb. It's going to be tough in the Big South. I mean, if you can kind of sneak in that tournament as a 5 or 6 seed, you never know what could happen there. And this was a team that was in our rankings not too long ago. I think it may be like a month ago now, but still, like, they started the season strong. They've obviously hit a bit of a skid, but maybe they can get back into that, get back hot again here as they kind of finish out as we get into mid-April and late in the season. So good to see from them.
Gardner Webb sitting at 5-7 in the Big South. Asheville right below them at 3-6. So kind of near the bottom, but as we said with the Big South, I mean, right now in the middle of the Big South, you got Charleston Southern at 5-4, Upstate at 6-6, Longwood 4-5, Radford 4-5, Gardner Webb 5-7. So I mean, that's kind of a log jam in the middle. So I mean, if you have one good week, it can propel you. One bad week, it can absolutely sink you. So need to win whatever series you have. Colby, NC State is back alive. Is this the turnaround point for NC State as they sweep the series and a scare on Saturday?
Yeah, huge sweep. I know last Wednesday, I said that this was a must-win series, and they got all 3 games. So impressive. And Saturday they're up 5-1 entering the top of the 9th, and then some questionable pitching decisions, I'd say, led to Notre Dame scoring 5 and taking the lead, and then State ended up battling back and scoring 2 in the bottom of the 9th to secure the sweep. And on Wednesday, I said the offense had to get going. Besides Luke Nixon and Rhett Johnson, they've been rock solid the last 2 weeks. The rest of the lineup has been pretty underwhelming, and they did. McHugh had a nice week. Ty Head back having a nice week, and Mikey Ryan had a really good week, along with Luke Nixon, who made our honor roll. He went 6 for 14 with 2 RBI, and Rhett Johnson went 7 for 18. He's kind of a hit machine. So the offense, hopefully this gets them going, and because I think I was reading today they have the toughest ACC schedule. They've already played Florida State and Georgia Tech, but going forward, it's still not going to be easy.
It's never going to be easy in the ACC. And Colby, they sit right in the middle of that log jam at 6-6 with Miami and Pitt. Reed, just kind of your thoughts on this big series win for them and a Notre Dame team that swept Clemson. But we'll get into Clemson a little later. But I mean, Reed, is this the turning point for NC State?
You would hope so. But yeah, like Colby says, much needed series win. Duden was excellent again this weekend. State's sitting right there in the middle of the pack in the ACC. I think right now I think the top 4 has kind of started to solidify itself with Carolina, Virginia, Florida State, and Georgia Tech. And then after that, it's kind of anyone's race right there. So very important weekend for State. Much needed, and we'll see if they can build off this.
Yeah, another huge series, State versus Duke this weekend. So that's a pretty big one for the ACC standings.
Huge to miss Duke. Duke's at 7-8. So Colby, did we miss it? Did you miss anyone else when naming the honor roll? or did you get it?
Oh no, I didn't mention Duden. He didn't make honor roll, but he, like Reed said, another tremendous outing. I don't think there is a little bit of a skepticism, I guess, from me and other state fans how Duden would transition from being a top bullpen guy to going in the rotation, and he has passed every test. He is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's back.
Oh yeah. Braxton, did you have any thoughts on the Pack?
No, I think it's a huge. I mean, they had the 7-game skid. I mean, just to get out of that with a sweep against, a Notre Dame team that was ranked just a week ago is absolutely huge. And they can take that right into the next series. They got a big one tomorrow against Wilmington. Yeah, so I mean, I think an important thing for State would be kind of just win another midweek comfortably, like they did at Wilmington a couple weeks ago. I think if they do that, the fans will be bought back in, especially heading into another big ACC series. So, yeah, we'll see. A good weekend though for the Pack.
North Florida takes the series over Queens, despite Queens winning the first game of the series. North Florida takes the last two. North Florida sits at 10-2 in the Graphite division in the ASUN. Queens sits at 4-8 in the Graphite division.
Is that real? That's a real
Yes.
thing.
Yes, it's the gold and the Graphite division. The gold division consists of Lipscomb, Austin P, North Alabama, Bellarmine, Central Arkansas, Eastern Kentucky. The Graphite division consists of North Florida, West Georgia, Florida Gulf Coast, Stetson, Jacksonville, and Queens. So, nice little interesting hodgepodge of teams there. But, moving on. Braxton, Upstate with kind of a shocking loss to Radford here. I mean, it's been a roller coaster of a season for Upstate, I would say. Dropping this one 2-1, just kind of your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean it's disappointing. You want to. I think they expect to beat Radford, even though it's on the road. You end up not getting the series win, and I think it's kind of the same thing that we've talked about over the last month or so. It feels like every week. Upstate just can't put a full week together. They get a good win here and there, but they don't get a series win against teams they should beat. It's been a struggle this year. I think that's why they're still even. They played a tough schedule, but now they're in conference play and they're sitting at. I think they might even be a touch under 500 in conference play, or maybe right at 500. 6-6. So I would expect them to have a winning record in conference play. I think they would expect that too of themselves. They're still right there. I mean, just get yourself into that Big South tournament. I don't think you need to be trying to win the Big South at this point. You're 6 games back of the lead, and Winthrop obviously still has to play a lot of games. But I think if you just get yourself into the tournament, get hot at the right time, everything that you set out to do can still happen. If you're Upstate, I think you've got to have that confidence that you can beat anyone. We know that they can beat anyone in the Big South, but you can also lose to anyone, which they've shown as well. And I think from top to bottom, we've talked about a lot this year as well. The Big South is up. It's a lot better. You look at teams like Longwood and Radford, which are the only 2 teams in the Big South that are not Carolina's teams. They've both drastically improved, the teams from Virginia out of the Big South. So I think that's good for the league. And, yeah, they take it to Upstate this week. Give them credit. I did expect Upstate to win the series, especially when it went to a rubber match, but they don't get the job done. And it's on to the next one now. So hopefully they can get hot here soon.
Oh, before we say their honors, I wanted to touch on Grayson Childress for Queens, 9 for 19, 2 RBIs, 4 runs, a home run, 2 doubles, and a walk. Wanted to highlight him for Queens. He had a good weekend for the Royals. But Cole, we had a few guys on Upstate, correct?
Just one, Malloy Heaney. He was on honor roll. He went 6 for 17, 9 RBI, 6 runs scored, and a couple of bombs. And also Henry Zenor had a good week. He went 7 for 20, a couple doubles, 4 stolen bases, 4 RBI.
Correct. And Wofford, nice series win here over VMI. Wofford now, Reed, sits in first in the SoCon at 5-1, 21-11 overall. Reed, is Wofford getting back to their ways when we started Curveball?
Yeah, it's certainly think so. Last season obviously was a huge disappointment. We touched on all last year how hurt they got from the transfer portal and everything like that. But this was a really good series win. Going to VMI team that was coming in red hot too, led the country in stolen bases. I believe they were like 22-6 coming into the weekend, and Wofford handled business. Ben Tiplin, he had a really big week at the plate. Same with Brady Gold, and then Alex Bouchard on the mound too, through a gym too as well for them.
Wofford 7-3 in their last 10. Wofford on the road is 7-5 on the road, which I think is huge. I think if you can win on the road, you can win anywhere. So nice for Wofford there. VMI drops to 2-4 in the SoCon. In Braxton, we were close on someone's prediction. I don't know who predicted. Who predicted?
Colby.
We were close. We were close. As they win on Friday night. What was the score of that Friday night game? Does anyone have it on top of their head? Wasn't it kind of convincing?
9-1 or something.
Yeah, was it convincing? It was. Yes, it was 9-1. South Carolina wins.
9-1.
Whoever wants to touch on that can touch on that.
Colby.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty good on Thursday night. I'm like, this could actually age very well. But Texas got the last two. But I'm still mildly impressed they took one, in my opinion.
Yeah, Jake Randolph was excellent on Thursday night for them. I believe he went 6 innings, 10 strikeouts too. They roughed up Texas's ace. Would have liked to have seen them get the series, but I think they can build off this. I mean, they're for sure. I've said over the past few shows they're showing more signs of life than they did under Maneri.
As we've said, they do have the talent, and it showed as taking the number 2 team in the country to the brink all weekend, which is impressive. Colby, do we have anyone to talk about?
Yeah, I had Will Craddock. He went 6 for 14, 2 home runs, 7 RBI.
Boys, we have the SEC championship this weekend. Missouri, South Carolina, both sit bottom of the SEC standings. Missouri at 3-9, South Carolina at 2-10. And Reed, what did you say? It will be in the pick'em?
Oh, absolutely will. I believe one of those games is on ESPNU too as well, so the whole world can see it.
They're putting that game on ESPNU
somehow. I don't know if that was changed. A few weeks ago it was set, so it wouldn't have shocked me if they moved it.
That is wild. I cannot even lie. Holy smokes. Also wanted to touch on something, Braxton. I'm seeing it on our sheet right now. Wanted to touch on it because you put it as a note. The first Citadel Longwood game at 11 a.m. had some special guests at the game.
Oh, dude,
and
that was electric.
Let's Braxton. I'll let you have the floor, sir.
It was like the first game of the weekend. I mean, it was Thursday at 11, right?
11 a.m. 11 a.m.
Dude, I mean, talk about just turning on baseball and just hearing that it's Kids Day down in Charleston.
They call it Education Day because they do it in Greenville sometimes. Yeah. We're like the surrounding elementary schools, right? Like field trips to the games. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Dude. I mean, I turned that game on and I realized what it was. There was kids everywhere. You could hear them on the broadcast. And I mean, the Citadel team just completely bought into it, which, by the way, like, all power to that team.
Yes.
I would do the same thing. Like, get the kids involved. Every single hit was just immediate, like 6, 7. So it was like, or not hit, but like if you RBI double or anything like that, like all the clips from that game were just sick. It was just cool to see. I mean, it was just energetic, like to start us off on the weekend, 11 a.m., like Kids Day, 6, 7s everywhere. Like, it was cool.
It was absolutely electric. As y'all all know, I love the 6-7 joke. It's my 6-7. It's one of my favorite jokes ever. And so like every single baseball player has a celebration when they get to second. So every single Citadel player made the decision to do the
Yeah,
6-7.
Speaking from experience, like there's not a better feeling than just hitting a double and hitting a celly, like just to your boys. And like I can't imagine the adrenaline to like hit it to all the kids in the crowd too. Like that would have been
Thousands of kids screaming
Yeah.
6-7. I mean, absolutely electric. I wanted to touch on that because it was absolutely just phenomenal. I thought it was the funniest thing in the whole wide world. But back to baseball. Keep it in the SoCon though, as Mercer takes the series versus UNCG. UNCG did win the first one 5-4, did have some life, but Mercer comes back and wins the series. Mercer sits at 4-2 in the SoCon. UNCG at 2-7, 13-19 overall. Not ideal for UNCG. Kind of on a rough patch these last 2 years. Our first year of Curveball, they had Jacob Kozart, the brother of Jacob Kozart, correct, on UNCG, our first year.
Caleb, I think it's Caleb.
It might have been
Caleb.
Caleb.
Jacob was on state. Caleb Kozart. So the Kozart boys, ever since kind of our first year, they have been kind of blown off. But Colby, do we have anyone for G?
Just one, Jacob Budzik. He went 5 for 10, had a couple of home runs too.
Okay, very nice. And Braxton, my pick to click bowl prediction cashes on the week as Western Carolina takes the series from Winthrop. Western won the first game 15-7, kind of shocked me. And then Winthrop takes the second one 6-4, and Winthrop finishes the job 7-6. Huge series win for Western. And Braxton, this gets them back into Carolina Curveball power rankings.
Yeah, this was kind of the series to kind of solidify yourself in the rankings this week for sure, I would say, because these are two teams that have kind of been around that 11, 12, 13 range. And, Winthrop's been as hot as anyone. We've talked about them, how they've just been winning games. They kind of hit a skid here the last, 4 or 5 games. But that's credit to Western. I mean, credit to you, Kate, as well for calling that. I did not expect them to kind of go into Winthrop and win those games. But, we know that Western can be very good. They kind of hit a skid last week where they were struggling a little bit. They bounced back here, take 2 games out of 3 at Winthrop. And hopefully for my sake, this can propel them into, whatever their next SoCon series in, because I have them to win the SoCon regular season, and I need them to get hot here, especially with the way Mercer's playing. They're right there. They're sitting at 3-3 in SoCon, so they're only 2 games back in first place if you look at it that way. Or I guess it's actually Wofford that's in first place, but Mercer's right there in second. So, good win though. If you're Western Carolina at Winthrop, I mean that's a tough series, and they take it, and like you said, Casey, they're in the rankings again. So,
Reed, if you're a team beginning of April and you got wins over Georgia, ECU, a series win over Winthrop on the road, just kind of what kind of confidence does that build for you as we get into dog days of conference play, and the confidence it builds of, hey, let's go get into the dance.
Yeah, it gives you all the confidence in the world. You can go out there and compete with other top teams in other conferences. Like Braxton said, good bounce back from Western after the rough week they had last week. They're still within a chance here. In the SoCon, I know the SoCon's well behind in games played in conference series.
Yes, they are well behind.
Yeah, I believe teams have only played 6 games.
Correct. Except G and East Tennessee, they've played 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Western, we've seen it all season. They can compete with anyone. Trent Turner, Wyatt Stanley, they were good. They had big weekends at the plate too. And then, Mason Snyder, he's been really good for Western out of the bullpen. I believe he had 2 saves for them as well this weekend.
Colby, Campbell sweeps William & Mary. Go ahead and name off the whole Campbell lineup. Like we do every single week.
Wasn't as potent this week. It was more their pitching staff. Mason Smith, 7 innings, 7 strikeouts. Camden Wimbish, 5 innings, 5 strikeouts. David Rossell seems like he's always on here, 7 innings, 7 strikeouts. And then Connor Hensley with a couple saves on the weekend.
Braxton, what does that say about that program that Chris Marks has built in the wake of O'Hare leaving for Ohio State. I mean, 1 week we have their whole lineup, their whole offensive lineup on an honor roll, and then the very next week we have the whole pitching staff, which is just like so much. There's so much balance on that team, sitting at 14-1 in the CAA, 21-10 overall, 3-game win streak. I mean, they're hot.
Yeah, I think they do have a good balance. I think, when I talked about them early in the season, the key for me was their pitching. I knew their offense would come around. It's kind of just their culture there in Campbell. But I was worried about their starting pitching, and just think about that game on Tuesday night against Carolina. I mean, they threw the whole dang kitchen sink against Carolina, and they looked really good on the mound. They looked very competitive in that game. Could have easily won. I mean, we could be having a very different conversation if they win that game and go 4-0 this week. I mean, they could be borderline top 3 team in the Carolinas. And I mean, Campbell is back. Like, we've talked about it. We've hit on it every week now. It seems like they just continue to stay hot. We all anticipated they would sweep William and Mary this week, just like this is now 6-0 against William and Mary this year with the divisional play that the CAA does. But I just think like this team, it was kind of inevitable that they were going to be back, and I think it's all credit to Chris Marks, and I can just see it now. Like, their fans are going to start getting very much bought back in if they're not already, and they're going to be a dangerous team if they make a regional, very dangerous, as well as Western. Now, just kind of going back to them too, I would love to see Western as a 4 seed just anywhere, and Campbell I think is going to make a regional.
Could you imagine Western as a 4 seed and a 1 seed, not pitching their best guy and then rolling out the pitchers?
I think they would. I think whoever it is would throw their one, because I mean, you never know, but it just depends on the matchup. But I could just see them giving a team an absolute fit on night 1.
I mean, Reed. Same with Campbell. I mean, Campbell and Western, 2 absolute nightmare forces. Reed.
Yeah, I mean, the way that Campbell's playing, though, they're starting to track more to I'd say a 3 seed right now. But yeah, I mean, Western would be a very scary 4 seed for any host.
Wake Forest takes the series versus Pitt. Pitt did win the last game 4-3, but on this sheet they won by 2 touchdowns, 22-8. Colby, any Demon Deacons, sir?
Yeah, just one. Javar Williams had a really nice week. Went 7 for 16, home run, a double, and 3 RBI.
Wake Forest sits at 8-7 in the ACC, 23-10 overall, and then Braxton Clemson gets a big series win across the country over Stanford. I mean, let's take a moment here. I mean, it's disappointing for the ACC. Reed, we were talking about it last night, how after they joined the ACC, Stanford kind of falls off. Reed, I want you to touch on that before I go to Braxton talk about Clemson. I mean, Stanford was a regional. Were they not hosting regionals?
Yeah, I mean, they were a constant top 8 seed. It felt like, the late 2010s, early 2020s. So quite the shame they come to the ACC and can't contribute anything. Last year they were near the bottom barrel. Looks like that's going to be the case again this year. And I believe Clemson is playing right now too, as we speak, against Santa Clara. Looks like they're up 1-0 right now in the 4th.
Yep. Monday night.
Braxton, big win on Easter Sunday. Happy Easter! I hope everyone had a good Easter. By the way, sorry, I should have said that.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Very impressive for them to win on the road. I mean, we call it on the road, but just really across the country, like you said. I think that's really why I had them still kind of maintaining their spot in the rankings. I know they kind of had a tough start to the week, because didn't they lose their midweek?
Yes. Wake, they got killed by Wake and Charlotte.
Right, they got absolutely whooped by Wake. Beckett's got thrown out. We were talking about it on the show. He's probably already in California. And then they lose. I think they won game 1, then lost. Yeah, they lost on – right here it is. They lost on Saturday, win yesterday on Easter Sunday. And I think that's just a big series. They needed to win that, or they're pretty much down and out in the ACC. So they do win it, and hopefully, they can kind of get it going here tonight as well with another win. as they take it into next week to Carolina, right? I think they play
Yeah, that's a
Carolina.
big
So,
series.
I mean, they're going to be well rested, you would think. I know they've got to fly back, but they don't have a midweek game. They're kind of playing their midweek game tonight, so they're going to have a couple of days of rest to prepare for Carolina. As Carolina plays Charlotte, I believe, tomorrow. So, it should be a good series, though. I think Clemson's kind of turned the corner a little bit. Maybe, I still kind of got to see it from them. But to go, like we've talked about, to go to California and win a series is tough. And to do it is impressive. I don't care who you are.
And Kanak finally had a good game, his best start of the season. Huge positive for Clemson with the Heels coming to town. Much needed from him. We've been waiting all season for it. So we'll see if he can build off that.
Colby, any Clemson guys?
Yeah, Michael Sharman, 7 innings, 6 strikeouts, 1 earned run.
Very nice. That was a long weekend recap. 56 minutes. Wow, boys. Love it, though, because we give each series a moment and talk about highlights. So I love that we give each program its spotlight. Overall weekend takeaways. Let's kind of wrap it up here for the weekend. Just kind of Reed, what's your biggest takeaway from this past weekend? We'll go Reed, Colby, Braxton, then wrap it up with myself.
I'll go with State getting back on track. We touched on 7-game losing streak coming into this weekend against a pretty good Notre Dame team that we've seen already had some big series wins this season. So for State, to respond after the midweek choke against Liberty, to come in this weekend reeling and take care of business was much needed for the Pack.
Colby?
Yeah, I'll go with the Pirates. I was really impressed what I saw this weekend, especially on Saturday, 11-run first inning. Looked like a team that is turning it around and starting to click on the offensive side of the ball. And, atmosphere was electric on Saturday. So I'll go with the Pirates.
Braxton?
I like both of those. I'm gonna go a different direction. I'm gonna say Duke. I think that's a really impressive series win against Louisville. They've had a couple impressive series wins. I think both at home over Miami and Louisville. Just kind of maintaining, kind of staying afloat with the injury to their probably arguably their best player and Insider Cannon, and just kind of staying the course. Finding a way to win the series. They're getting a lot of really good at bats out of Caden Smith, the Charleston Southern transfer. I think it's impressive that Duke was able to be a pretty good Louisville team.
Yeah, with Zion Rose back in that lineup too.
Yes. I did not expect them to beat Louisville.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go High Point, and I'm gonna say it as kind of like not like a big shock, but I mean just High Point just keeping what they've got going on. I mean, they have not had a below 500 week all season. You're looking at 2-1, 3-2, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 3-0, 4-0, 3-1. I mean, they have just been winning games. Joey Hammond's team just does not seem to lose, and I think if you want to win your conference, want to make a regional, don't have a below 500 week, and I think that's what they do in going on the road to College of Charleston, who is a program that has talent, and just going there and taking the first 2 is huge in my opinion. So that will do it for the weekend recap. We will now preview the midweek here. Braxton, thank you for pulling it up, sir. We got Elon at Gardner-Webb at 3 p.m. on the Plus. Presbyterian at Georgia, 3 p.m. SEC Network Plus. Who's got Presbyterian taking that one?
You might be alone on that.
Okay. I will stand in that. Book it right now, Presbyterian Beats.
You're actually taking that?
Yep.
Wow.
App State at UNC Asheville, a little mountain action there. Upstate at Western Carolina, Braxton. That is a perfect opportunity for Upstate to get a bounce back. Another good test for Western staying
the over.
It's kind of a revenge spot for Western too. I mean, they got throttled by Upstate 17-0 earlier in the season. So
what did you say, Colby?
Take the over.
Yes.
Duke at East Carolina, 6 p.m. ESPN Plus. Read the rematch. ECU get walked off again?
Sure hope not.
That can't happen.
I mean, that was bad 2 weeks ago. But we'll see if the Pirates have turned the corner. After this past week they had.
Colby Wilmington at NC State, 6 p.m. ACC Network. Extra big one. What do you like to see from both teams there?
Yeah, their first meeting in Wilmington went State's way. It was State handled all the game. They jumped on them early and never let up. So we'll see what Wilmington has after a rough weekend at Stony Brook. See how they bounce back against a team that handled them a couple weeks ago.
Davidson at Queens, 6 p.m. on Queens Sports Network. Love that. Charleston Southern at the Citadel. Nice cross the road action there. North Carolina A&T versus High Point at the Rockers. That is a nice ballpark, 6 p.m. ESPN Plus. UNCG at Campbell, 6 p.m. Flow Sports. Wofford at Georgia State, ESPN Plus. And the big one, Wake Forest versus Coastal Carolina in Durham. I will be in attendance for that one. Looking forward to that one. Me and my lady are going there. Looking forward to that one. Reed, what are you looking to see Wake Forest and Coastal Carolina?
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch this. I would expect
You can't.
Coastal.
Can't.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Is it going to be on TV?
No, it definitely won't be.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Damn, yeah, good point.
Yeah, on Instagram.
Yeah, please stream it on Twitter. With Coastal, we'll see. I would imagine we'll see. I bet they start Jackson Appleman. He's coming off his best start of the season last week against Citadel. I bet, and then I'm sure Wake's going to go with more of a committee approach since they pitched Cam Bagwell this weekend in the rotation. But I think it should be a really exciting game. Two really good teams.
I'm looking forward to it. I love the Durham Bulls Park there. It's a beautiful park. We were there earlier this year. Beautiful park. Two good teams. Looking forward to it a lot. College of Charleston at South Carolina at 6:30 SEC Network Plus. And Braxton, to wrap it up, Charlotte at North Carolina on ACC Network at 7 p.m. I mean, Braxton coming off a sweep, coming off getting swept from Charlotte. I mean, this is not what you want to see in your schedule going to the Bosch.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it, two ways. You can look at it like that, or you can look at it as a good opportunity to kind of get your name back out there. Carolina we've seen they're beatable. They're obviously a very good team. They're number one in our rankings for a reason. But I think Charlotte can definitely, they're capable of taking it to this team. Especially, I think it'll probably be Boston Flannery on the mound again for the Heels. To start. You could catch them kind of in a trap spot here between Boston College and Clemson for Carolina. So it should be a good ball game, though. It's on ACC Network, national TV. So I expect to kind of Woodard to want to put on a show there, kind of going back to his old stomping grounds as well. So, yeah, I'll definitely be tuned into this one. I do think UNC will take it, but I would not be shocked if Charlotte took it to him as well.
And the Citadel at Winthrop on Wednesday. Go around the horn here. Braxton, you just said you're Charlotte, North Carolina. Colby, outside of UNCW and NC State, what do you have your eyes on, sir?
Probably Duke and ECU. Obviously ECU with the loss to Duke a couple weeks ago in heartbreaking fashion. See how they bounce back. Should be a rocking Greenville crowd coming off a 4-0 week. Try to get revenge on Duke.
Rito, what game are you looking forward to of the games we have not said we're looking forward to?
I think it's got to be Coastal and Wake. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to watch it. But, I mean, I think that's the big headliner tomorrow night here in the Carolinas.
I agree. Should I bring a tripod and go buy an extra iPhone tomorrow so I can stream it with a fresh battery?
I think you should.
Stream it for all.
Bless the Carolinas for Melee.
I'm going to need – my phone will literally explode from heat. But, yeah, looking forward to another great midweek. Braxton, we've been blessed with some great midweeks the last couple of weeks. I mean, these are just phenomenal.
It's the best. It's every week in the Carolinas. Like you said, we're blessed. I mean, you just take a look down this list. I mean, it's great ball game after great ball game. I love the midweeks. I think this year – just kind of us putting an emphasis on it has really kind of helped, all of us to kind of buy in. And, They matter. I mean, we've talked about it all year. Midweeks do matter. You get to see these teams kind of go against each other in action, especially for us in the Carolinas. And I think it's just important to kind of just bridge your series together. I think it's really important to go out and have good midweek games. If you're, no matter if you're a big giant or a smaller team, a smaller mid-major team, I think it's important because you got to carry that momentum into the weekends. Baseball on the weekends is obviously probably more important. I'm not going to argue that, but the midweeks do matter. And I mean, we just get blessed every week with these matchups, and we get to watch them on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I absolutely love it. So,
Braxton, give us an update on the IG followers. IG followers, 50 and 21. And Braxton, have they fixed the bug where we can see who people are voting?
I hope so. They had a little bug last week. I think they went 7-5 last week. They're now sitting at 50 and 21 overall, which is pretty good. Pretty good. So we'll see. We'll get the stories out tomorrow. Hopefully, we can look at who everyone's voting for because that is quite fun, like you mentioned, Kaysen. But make sure you get the votes in though tomorrow.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Carolina Curve BB, also on Twitter, but especially on Instagram because we would love to see who you pick for Midweek Madness on our Instagram stories. We love it. Also, be there for our content. We're going to have some good content coming out this week. Fellas, as we wrap up the show, any other lasting takeaways or picks to click tomorrow or bold predictions?
Check the score here. Michigan's up 4 at half.
Michigan's up 4.
Masters week.
Yep.
Masters week. Good call, Colby.
Yeah.
Great call, Mr. Gallimore.
Who's your
Who's winning the Masters?
Wait, should we save it? Should we save it?
You're
yeah.
right.
Well, that'll be after the first round.
No, let's do it now.
All right. Well, I think it's a given. I've got Scheffler, his third in 5 years.
Boring.
Gallimore?
I'm going to go with Ludwig Oberg.
Bryson DeChambeau. Braxton?
Let's go with, I don't even know if he's playing. Brian Harmon.
Brian Harmon's your Masters 2026.
Yes. Get him a puny little green jacket.
Braxton, you might be banned from the Masters, our Masters draft.
Is he playing, Reed? Is he playing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Book it. I can't wait for him to win it.
He's not winning the Masters.
He'll be lucky if he's around for the weekend.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, folks, be sure to follow us on at Carolina Curve VB on Instagram and Twitter. So when you take a break from watching the Masters, look at some baseball highlights, look at some scores on our Twitter, follow us on Instagram. Braxton does a great job on TikTok. Follow us on TikTok as well. Also on Discord, Spotify, YouTube. Link in our bio for all of those. As Braxton is showing us, Brian Harmon. Reed, make sure you look. 2026 Masters winner.
Okay.
I'll give Braxton $100 if Brian Harmon wins.
How much?
$100.
Hey,
I'll add to that too.
Hey, this is live on YouTube and Spotify, so it's booked. It's booked.
Yeah, I'll stay true if that somehow happens.
We would actually go viral.
We would actually go viral if that happens because we can timestamp this. All right, fellas, that will do it. We will see you guys on Thursday for our recap of the midweek. We have a lot of great games to recap. Holy smokes. I see some of y'all have already put your picks in on the pick 'em and no one's put Presbyterian, so I guess I'll be the first one. We shall see. Like I said, follow us on Instagram. Do your pick 'ems. Folks, we will see you on Thursday. Good night.